The long-serving Prime Minister of Bangladesh just fled from her country from agency-like uprising. Uh, what is Bangladesh? Kenyans, especially people in Mombasa, know of other Bangladeshis. And I wanted to tell you how Bangladesh is connected even to Kenya. Why do we have areas? Okay, nowadays they are not called Bangladesh, but we used to have various areas in Kenya that were called Bangladesh. It is only this part of Mombasa that remained with the name Bangladesh. And even Bangladesh in Mombasa came up with the name, with the Bangla-Pesa. There was a few arrests and a few investigations, but later the charges were dropped and the thing ended that way. So I want us to start how Bangladesh as a country started. Then we will come up and say and find out why many areas in Kenya, especially slums, were called Bangladesh. And then we will finish off by understanding why we had Bangla-Pesa. Welcome. Uh, the India, or three countries of India, that is India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh. The three countries attained independence in the late 80s. I think 1948. That is when it became they became independent. But just before independence, Britain discovered that India had three distinct type of people. There are those Christians, especially Catholics. They were in a place called Goa. These are the people who became Catholic under influence of Vasco da Gama. When Vasco da Gama went there, they started. And that is why you find Indians being called D'Souza. In Kenya, we have an Indian who was assassinated who was called Gama Pinto. So you see, D'Souza, Gama Pinto, those are Portuguese names. So they were Indians, they spoke English, but they practiced Catholicism. That was a very small place that they could not form a country. But they found that majority of the people were divided into two religions. They were divided into Hinduism and Islamism. So they decided, because of the tension there, where you people separated not on a tribal basis, or okay, they are all Indian, so we cannot talk of race. You could find one Maasai going to the other country and another Maasai remaining in this country. Not because they wanted the Maasais together, but they wanted the people of the same religion together. So everybody who was a Muslim, they were told to migrate north. They were told to migrate north to the northeast and to the northwest. And then they started a country called Pakistan. Pakistan. When you hear the name Pakistan, it means that the Paki people, like just the way you can say Kikuyustan, Maasaistan, Kambastan, Taitastan. So it means the people of Paki. You will also hear from those countries places called Ubesiskan, Afghanistan, and very many towns there, which means the people of Afghan, people of Uzbekistan, and the people of the Pakistan. So the remaining area was called India. The remaining area was called India. And the upper places, it was found that areas to the northeast and areas to the northwest were populated mostly with Muslims. So if you are, let's say, south, uh, and you are a Muslim, unafunga virago, you choose either to go to the northeast or the northwest. And if you are staying in the northwest or northeast and you are a Hindu, you would migrate back to uko chini. And that is why the 3 countries plus Nepal, the 4 countries plus Nepal, were called Indian subcontinent. Indian subcontinent. They are Asians, but they are Hindus. So a Pakistan is a Hindu, but he practices Islam. Uh, the same with the Bangladesh people, Bangla people. But then they got independence around 1972, and all developed. That is when Bangladesh got independence. Between 1948 to 1972, a period of 20 something years, what do you call taxes? Taxes were collected equally. Taxes were collected equally in both the 2 countries. By then, what we today call Pakistan was called East Pakistan, and what today we call Bangladesh was called West Pakistan. So people from Bangladesh noticed that when it comes to paying of taxes, they paid the same. People from the East Pakistan used to pay the same as people in the West. But when it came to development, over 80% used to go to East Pakistan. You see, the government ministers, everybody, senior people were all from East Pakistan. But West Pakistan used to get Mabaki. So, 1972, around there, they decided to form their own country. And they decided to call it Bangladesh. Why did they call it Bangladesh? 2 reasons. One, they live near a bay. The bay is called the Bay of Bengal. The Bay of Bengal. So it was next to what? And then those majority of the original people there, and the majority of the people in East Pakistan were from a tribe called Bengal. Bengal. So Bay of Bengal, just like the Persian Gulf, isn't it? It is a Gulf of the Persian. So the Bay of Bengal is for the Bengalese. So that is when they decided to form a country called, named after that tribe, Bengal. So Bangladesh, it means Bengal country in their language. Why did they call it Bangladesh? It is just like in Kiswahili or English. Let's talk English. It is just like English. You can call our country, you can call Kenya the state of Kenya, or the Republic of Kenya, or the country of Kenya. So they decided not to use the Bengalstan, but they say Bangladesh. Maybe in their language it means the place of the Bengal. Vile Waswahili tunaweza sema Ukikuyuni. Ukikuyuni. Maybe that is the reason. So it became a country, a republic of its own in 1972. Because when you are moving from East Pakistan, that is Bangladesh to Pakistan, you have to enter into India and travel for 1,800 kilometers. That is like inside India, so that you go to East Pakistan. So it is like leaving Mandera town and then going up to Nakuru. Yeah, whichever way you use, either Isiolo or Garissa, but you come to Nairobi and go up to Nakuru. That is the distance from East Pakistan to West. So they started that country that way. But then, for the 25 or so years that they were part of Pakistan and they were East Pakistan, usually every place there were just slums. Development, as I said, they were taken to East Pakistan, which after West no to West Pakistan, which after when East Pakistan went away, the country remained now Pakistan. Just like Rhodesia in Africa, we had this Northern Rhodesia and Southern Rhodesia. So when Northern Rhodesia called itself Zambia, then South Rhodesia became just Rhodesia, although later they became Zimbabwe. So you see that Pakistan were two, east and west, and you see to cross from west to east, you had to cross through India, just the way someone is leaving Mandera town to go to Nakuru town. But then all the slums were in Pakistan East. So it became tenable for every place in a developing country for a place that is full of slums to be called Bangladesh. So Bangladesh in Mombasa is a slum that started during the 60s, and they said that there were so, it's like Kibera Katwekera. But you see, that place started when Pakistan had two areas, and they used to say that the developed country, if you want to see development, go to Pakistan, West Pakistan. But if you want to see backwardness, slums and whatever, you go to Bangladesh. So slums cropped up in Kenya around in the 60s, and they started calling themselves Bangladesh. That is why the Bangladesh slum in Mombasa started, to show that it is a slum. You see, Bangladesh, just that is a slum, isn't it? Um, and then I'm a son of a police officer, and I'm also a former police officer. We in the late 60s and the early 70s, police started building modern buildings before, because in the 60s, police officers used to stay in round grass thatched houses. So they would leave this place and build aside modern houses, iron sheet houses. So the old quarters in the police lines used to be called Bangladesh. So anywhere in Kenya and maybe even other areas where there were slums, they started calling them Bangladesh. Now you know the reason. Now somebody, I think he was in the Catholic Church, he saw that this movement of money, the money we are carrying, this the coins, the notes, and that is not money. That is just a paper that you trust. That is a paper that you trust. It is just a paper like if I went to the shop and wrote a paper, told the shopkeeper that I want things worth 300 shillings. Then the shopkeeper gives me something worth 300 shillings, and he retains the paper. So the next time I'm passing around, let's say I'm from my farm and I've carried a lot of guashe, and then the shopkeeper says, instead of you giving me 300, why don't you give me some of the guashes instead of that? So we talk and say, okay, guashe, how many guashes you'll take for the 300? You say, okay, 6 or 7 guashes, and then you return that paper to me. So it is called a promissory note. So the papers, the coins and the papers we carry, those are just nothing. They are just paper like the ones, but it is a paper that is trusted by people, that if you have it, you can use it, you can buy goods and services worth that amount. So since the people of Bangladesh, you see a person from Bangladesh goes to work at a rich person's place, then he comes back before the rich person has given him salary. He goes and buys things. So somebody, I think, from the Catholic Church felt that they should also have their own papers where they would use it which is a promissory note where we say that you have my 7 Bangla-Pesa, whatever Bangla. So it became like currency within the East. You leave Bangladesh, you go to any other part of Mombasa, that is just a paper. And that is how Bangla-Pesa started. And when they wanted to arrest that man, they came and saw that the people of Bangladesh trusted Bangla-Pesa more than the money. So I don't know whether the Bangla-Pesa is still on, and or it was phrased out or whatever. But now at least you know the background of Bangladesh as a country, Bangladesh as slums in Kenya, which of course only the one in Mombasa, I think, which is still on, and Bangla-Pesa in Mombasa. Thank you.